Hey, Christmas McFarland, you got balls, baby.
Christmas?
Chris McFarland. Hey, it's our first video of the day, all right?
Miss McFarland?
Christmas McFarland, you got
nailed it, man.
balls. And it's time to discuss this trade news after we mentioned Manscaped personal grooming. Grooming isn't just about looking good, it's about feeling good. Whether you're suiting up for a big trade or gearing up for the playoffs or just tackling your locker room interviews, you need the right tools to make a difference. The Beard and Balls bundle from Manscaped, your all-in-one grooming solution. And remember, go to manscaped.com, 20% off, free international shipping, promo code DANGLE, and we got a trade, and it goes like this.
Merry Christmas, Avs fans. You get Brock Nelson.
The Colorado Avalanche acquired Brock Nelson and William Dufour from the New York Islanders for Calum Ritchie, Oliver Shillington, and a conditional 2026 first-round pick and a conditional 2028 third-round pick. This is a massive, massive haul for basically a rental. Now, I'm assuming Christmas McFarland is going to extend Brock Nelson eventually.
Or try.
But let's talk about first, the asking prices across the board generally right now are enormous today. Absolutely. And I'm not sure if that means that we're going to get fewer trades, if that means we're going to get crazier trades, or if that means the prices may come down. Maybe the prices come down. I don't know.
I've seen that speculated. I feel like it's going to be the opposite. I think it's going to go up.
Now, do you think that given the asking prices, guys, that other teams who are like, I don't know if we'll sell, go, maybe we should sell?
100%. And one of those teams, I think you're seeing a lot of buying and selling from some of the smarter ones, and Colorado's a really smart one. I think they've had trouble finding a market for Casey Middlestat, who's got 5 years left on his deal. I didn't know that. But I kind of think by the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised.
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's 2 years at 5.
It's 5.75.
My bad.
Yes.
My bad. We were talking about it beforehand. 2 years left at 5.75. Well, that's a lot easier to trade at 2 years. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Colorado move off of Middlestat now that they got their man in Brock Nelson.
And what do they have with their man in Brock Nelson?
Playoff performer. I know he's taken a lot of grief recently because he did a photo shoot where he had gray hair, and that's illegal. And he looked old. He doesn't look old in the playoffs. In his last 11 playoff games, that's his last 2 runs, he's got 4 goals, 5 assists for 9 points in 11 games. In his career, he's got 27 goals, 23 assists, 50 points in 78 career playoff games. He was a part of those deep Islanders runs that they had during the COVID bubble. This is a guy who is a nightmare in front. He can snipe it. He's a really, really solid second option. And, I mean, consider the teams he's been on. Who's been the number one center? Like, obviously John Tavares, but then when they were going on these deep playoff runs, it's Matt Barzal, right? Like, so it's now he's playing behind Nathan McKinnon.
Right.
It's very different.
Jesse, Colorado has remade themselves this year in terms of goaltending and that sort of thing, trades. Do you look at a Brock Nelson type of player and go, like, this is sort of the icing on the cake, or do you still think there's more work that they will do?
The Middlestat thing is interesting because you're not moving him unless you get something that helps you win now. And, like, they've proven that this entire season. They're the first team ever to remake their goalie tandem that early in
Before
the season.
Christmas.
It was
Like,
incredible.
right away.
No team in the history of the league has ever done that, have their 2 goalies that early and remake them, because they noticed we were not good enough at this point, and we are going to continue to make trades until we are good. And you see that with the Nietzsche's one and Rantanen going out. So I think if there's something out there that you can swap Middlestat and make yourself better now, Middlestat's not a bad 3 seed.
No,
like,
I think it's pretty
really
good. But they also got Jack Drury in the Rantanen deal.
Exactly. Yeah. So things look a lot better with your center depth now that you have Nelson. So there's a pathway to hold on to Middlestat if you don't get something that's an upgrade. So I can see them sticking with them if you don't get something that makes you better now, because they don't need futures. They're trying to win, which is the best thing in sports. Somebody who's trying to win. So it's great to watch them do this.
So let's talk about the return for him. So it's a 2026 conditional pick. It's Calum Ritchie. We'll start with Calum Ritchie. Because that is
General, baby.
That's So what do we think about? I mean, Calum Ritchie, the player. What type of player is he?
He's a playmaker. He's a big-time playmaker. This year with the Oshawa Generals, he has 14 goals in 41 games. Oh, this guy's a bust. Wrong. He's got 53 assists. So he's at 67 points in those 41 games. 6'3", $190. What we've criticized the Islanders for, even when they were really, really good and, they were going on their deep runs, is they couldn't score. Or they had difficulty scoring. Now they have a very obvious future here. Calum Ritchie is going to be paired with Cole Eiserman forever and ever, amen. They're two kind of polar opposites. Ritchie is this electric playmaker with all kinds of ability, great hands. And Cole Eiserman, over his last 2 years at Boston College, basically doesn't get assists. The dude just snipes. So that is the future of the Islanders' offense.
The Islanders will have an offense in the future.
Well, now they have a setup man,
right?
They have a setup man.
That has been one of their biggest problems in the Lou Lamoriello era, is just the lack of any sort of offense. It's been kind of crazy.
It's been a struggle, and Calum Ritchie goes a long way to fixing that.
Now, I do want to mention I want to specify with the picks here, because this is important. Colorado was able to protect their pick, and I'm just pulling it up here. I had it.
I have the condition.
Okay, give it to me.
So they traded a first rounder and a third here. So the 2026 first rounder from Colorado, the condition is if Colorado's 2025 first rounder transfers to Philadelphia from a previous trade that was Sean Walker, it's top 10 protected, or it's top 10 protected in 2026. The Islanders receive Colorado's 2027 first instead. So there's a chance this pick isn't even until 2027 for Colorado. The 2028 third, it's very unlikely it even gets transferred. No offense, Colorado Avalanche fans. It's just by the percentages. It only transfers if Colorado wins the 2025 Stanley Cup and Brock Nelson plays at least 50% of those games.
Okay.
That's from Puckpedia.
One thing about Calum Ritchie, if you don't remember, he played this season in the NHL.
Yes.
At the NHL level. He played 7 games, and they did not go
Scored a
well.
goal.
No, they didn't go well.
By the end of it, he was playing 7 minutes during the game, and he was a -7 in 7 games. He did get a goal at the end of it, but he is so unbelievably young, and they got him a little bit of NHL experience. Didn't go well, but I assume they'll call him up one day again. The Islanders will, and things will go better.
They'll call him up?
They'll
Hey,
call him
whoa,
up. and things
hey.
will
The
go
last
better.
part of this deal is also Oliver Shillington has been moved from the Islanders automatically over to the Anaheim Ducks. They boom, had it ready.
To the point where it's basically a 3-way deal.
Yeah, and it's future considerations coming back. The one thing I'll say for Oliver Shillington, who has came into this into his career with tons of potential and there's skill there, is he's going to be able to find ice time in Anaheim. There is going to be time for him to play, and there's going to be sort of a reset there too, I think.
It'd be nice if Anaheim could take him and be like, here's your role.
Yes.
Because he's only played 13 games so far this season. 2 of them were on left wing.
Yeah.
And then he basically split between left and right defense. Give him a role and be like, here's where you're playing. I'm just looking at the Ducks right now. My assumption would be on the right side because they got Gudas Trouba, Drew Hellison on the right. On the left, Jackson Lacombe, who's a very underrated defenseman in this league, Pavel Mintyukov, and Olin Zellweger. My assumption is he plays on the right. But
Okay. Well, he is a left shooter.
Yes.
A couple years ago, though, 31 points in 73 games. This is a guy that can put points on.
Yeah, you hope that this is good for his career overall because things haven't been going well. They've been treading downwards, and just moving him out of Colorado to a place where he can play is great. But even in Anaheim, I'm unsure if there's a whole bunch of minutes for him because they've been playing the young kids and they've been prioritizing getting people out so that they can play the young kids. And now you have somebody who needs minutes who's not developing there. So we'll see.
Maybe they move someone to.
I'm just going to say, does it mean that Anaheim moves somebody?
Yes, so that's
Possible.
Interesting if they're going to make more room. Could we see Trouba flip to a contender?
Just going to say, do you retain
I
for
think
Trouba?
there's a lot of interesting stuff going on because now you can retain money again on Trouba, just like how you can retain on Rantanen, and we're talking about Rantanen going for $2 million somewhere. Trouba could be even less to a contender, and, Anaheim doesn't really need him.
Now, I got a question about that. Is his deal up at the end of the year?
No, Trouba signed through next season.
So you could have Jake Trouba. They took the full $8 million. right? So you could have Jake, if Anaheim was willing to retain, you could have Jake Trouba at $4 million.
So it's not double retained.
Not double retained. I forgot. I forgot they'd taken the whole salary.
Sorry.
If you can get the Ducks to take $4 million off that, Jake Trouba as a defenseman on your team, shooting right, laying hits, not playing crazy minutes like he used to have to. That's pretty exciting for a contender.
So I looked on Anaheim's retention spots. They have one left.
Ooh.
They've only used 2, so they got one more.
They should use that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, get rid of Trouba. Get back-to-back assets for him. Like, it'd be nice.
Absolutely. Just got real interesting. So this is your SDPN trade deadline day coverage. Pretty sure we're going to see more from the Avalanche. I think there's a middle stat deal out there with Jack Drury waiting, right? And hey, man, maybe we see more from the Ducks.